Do I hit play? Tell me when to
What?
hit play.
You don't have
Tell
to
me
hit
when to
play
hit.
yet.
Okay, cool.
To a very. I want to make sure we're actually locked and loaded and ready to go here. And we
Cool.
are. Okay. We had one person with us at Crack Skull Media. What's up? We're watching Revenge of the Sith. Anything to add to that, Hoff?
We're watching one of the best Star Wars movies of all time. If you'd like to join in, we'll give you a second here to get your Disney Plus on.
Absolutely. We are currently paused right in between the blue long time ago in a galaxy far, far away and the actual of the Star Wars. So now's your chance, and your chance is dwindling. All right, here comes the countdown. 3, 2, 1, and launched.
All right, I'm going. We're going. It's on, baby. It's on.
Gotta love that music.
Let me tell you, this is one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Oh, absolutely.
Probably, I'd put it number 3. I'd say Empire, New Hope, and then this, and then Return of the Jedi.
Well, I tell you, man, when you were like, hey, I'm about to get out of here and watch Revenge of the Sith, and I was like,
Yeah,
I want to do that.
absolutely.
This is one of my favorite movies. I mean, straight up from the opening scene and just throughout. And in my opinion, what
is it good for? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
If you see me looking off this way, it's because I'm watching the movie.
Oh yeah, saying it's like and reading, doing a little bit of reading. The Jedi Knights and the Separatist droid army. But this opening sequence just shows you how close like Obi-Wan and Anakin have become throughout this entire campaign. Throughout these wars, they've become closer than brothers, or as close as brothers.
And let me tell you this, Face. I want nothing more than some great stories from that. Not some half-assed ones. I want some great stories from that time.
Absolutely.
I knew there were comics of it, but I didn't read them. It might be good. Who knows?
Well, I'll tell you, the book of this particular movie is one of my favorite all-time Star Wars books ever, and I've read tons of them. It is phenomenal. It enhances this movie. It takes nothing away from it. And every time I watch this movie, it adds something to it. And it's amazing.
Oh, man, look at this. Look at this opening, dude.
I love it.
It's the best opening to Star Wars.
You're absolutely correct. Yeah. The symmetry.
Let me tell you something about Solo, dude. I have the Solo book, and the opening to that book, it tells you, like, what happened just before the Solo movie started. Makes the movie make so much more sense. Seriously. And I know that movie is not the best, but it's not the worst either. But it's totally worth
that's interesting.
Worth checking out, man. General Zod, what's up, bro? I missed that guy. I haven't seen him in a minute.
I know. Well, we've both been out of commission for a sec.
Dude, do you think those Jedi Starfighters are some of the best designs? I do.
They're the precursors of like TIE interceptors. And that's actually why they needed that's why they needed hyperspace rings to use hyperspace, because like interceptors and those kind of ships don't have hyperspace capabilities. What's up, Zod? What's up, Senate? It's great to see both you guys.
I'm trying to get more focused in on so it doesn't look like I'm just staring off in the vague distance. I'm gonna take the glasses off so I can watch this with my own eyes.
Bunch of vulture droids. I know, that's why I took mine off. I was like, vulture droids just showed up. I gotta
turn this light off over here so I can see the real deal.
I'm gonna go help him out. Where are you at? I know we're very close.
Missiles.
You're at missiles.
They were shot us.
They're coming back around. Try spinning. That's a good trick.
Yeah. Nothing too fancy. It's where the fun begins.
This is where the fun begins. That's when he gets to the younglings. Flying is for droids. You hear that, Kathleen Kennedy? If you have to hyperspace ram someone and even make that a thing, why not let a droid do it, you dummy? Ryan Jones.
A hyperspace ram sounds like the most badass sexual move of all time. Senate, what's up, Senate?
Hey, can you imagine right here?
Senate's watching with us. I'm gonna sit up to a spot where I don't look like I'm looking off into the abyss. Is that better? Is that worse?
I'm running out of tricks here. Yeah, when Obi-Wan's running out of tricks, you know things are getting serious. Because he's always hanging out in bars.
That's where all the villainy is. And the name.
I'm in missiles. Nice.
I can't get comfy here. There we go. I don't know.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna butcher that. Yeah, Senate. Oh, I love you, Senate. Senate's keeping
Dude,
because you can just know. It's like, oh yeah, buzz droids. Nice. Okay. We're at that
dude,
part
how
of the
cool,
sequence. Have you noticed
cool
this
handles?
That hasn't happened yet. I'm just like quoting ahead of time, but yes. Hit the buzz droids, center eye. I don't want to hear any miswired jokes. Did I say anything? I didn't say anything. Obi-Wan's constantly a smart man. Have you noticed the shields are still up?
Dude, buzz droids have boobs. They got boobs.
I feel like they're an ass that opens, and then you hit there in their center brown eye. It's red, but
well, sometimes they are.
Hit them in their center eye. It's very sensitive.
Well, I have a bad feeling about this.
It's always
and Obi-Wan just flies out of his ship.
He just jettisons out. He's like, I don't even need an ejector seat. I've got the Force.
Force ejection. Force ejaculation.
You know it's consensual. It's guided by the Force. I sense Kantika. I sense a trap. Spring the trap.
I smell Dooku.
Isn't it great though? Like, actually, literally, from the last episode where Anakin was not listening to him, disobeying him at every chance, literally going out of his way to like do whatever, and now they're working side by side as, if not equals, partners, like respected partners. It's great. That's great character growth in between movies.
Well, that was Obi-Wan's entire point. You know, that's growth. That's something that they don't know anything about in these new movies, where someone's just great from the beginning, you know?
Yeah. No, well, now it's like all, yeah. It wasn't about stories, certainly. I mean, all of Star Wars, up until Disney bought it, was, you know, and the movies, it's just straight up George Lucas fanboying out about whatever he wants to do. And in that fanboy craziness of him, he had tons and tons of intricate stories that he actually cared about them making sense together. The new ones don't connect. And these ones, nonsensical as they are sometimes, like some of the stuff in these prequels and in the original trilogy, I'm just like, it's nonsense. But at least the overall story makes sense.
No, dude, I was 11 when the Phantom Menace came out. I was all in when I was a kid on this shit.
Oh yeah, no.
All
When
in.
I was a kid, it blew my mind. The double bladed lightsaber too, because I'd already seen regular stuff. But when that happened, as a kid, again, same as you, I think I had a Jar Jar. There's a picture of me with a Jar Jar Binks T-shirt at one point. Because at one point before the movie came out, I was like, "Boo Schnicken,
Hell yeah.
Jar Jar Binks. This guy's gonna be the shit."
Yeah.
Not that I was saying that, but that's from fanboys. And
I
that's,
know fanboys when he's got the tattoo on his back.
yeah. And so, like, I definitely had a shirt of that. There's a picture of me wearing that shirt because I was like, people, if there's one thing people know about me, it was like, oh, he likes Star Wars. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Just get him the Star Wars. It's the Star Wars. Get him the Star Wars.
Dude, I think these movies are incredible, dude. Like,
this one is truly great. They're when I rewatch them, and maybe it's just because I've seen them so many times, but like Clone Wars, there's parts that I'll skip. Certainly, that some of the love stuff, if I'm not in the mood, I might skip it. But this one, I watch definitely all the way through.
hey, let's say hey to everything Star Wars in the stream. What's up? In the chat there. My bad. In the chat. Obviously, he's here.
Welcome. Oh man, I'm not. Good lord. Terrible at paying attention to the chat, especially when a delightful Star Wars film on in front of my face.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything. Misfire jokes. And see, that's when they have R2-D2 using his flying
attack.
And that kind of...
You're ahead of me, dude. Can I fast forward?
Oh, crap. Where are you at? Hold on.
Pause for 2 pause for 2
it.
seconds. Pause it and then restart it and we'll be in the same place.
Okay. Well, did they just step out of the elevator?
No. R2 just set everything on fire.
Okay. Tell me when they stepped out of the elevator.
Just now. They stepped out.
And then his chair. Okay.
Yep. Okay, we're
gotcha. Yeah. Well, I was saying, like, when he jumps in his jets and like he flies, and even in the Clone Wars, I remember even when I was a kid thinking, like, if he could do that shit, why wasn't he doing that in the original trilogy? So, like, there is stuff in these, but it's not like R2 having jets. Who knows? Maybe someone took them out in between, but like hyperspace ramming, that's not correctable because that would go back to like the beginning of hyperspace and using hyperspace as a weapon, and it would have been done way sooner.
I agreed, but what do you think about the hammerhead ramming in Rogue One? I thought that was cool.
That was more plausible. It makes more sense. They because that totally takes. It wasn't like they just randomly did it or were super powerful. They coordinated attack. Let's concentrate our ion cannon.
Exactly.
The Y-wings had an opening. They shut down all their things. Then that just becomes a floating object in space. Then they careen it into the other one. That makes more. Now, how much damage it did to the other one? I know they're fighting now. Dooku. I've been looking forward to this.
My powers have doubled.
Twice the pride. Double the fall.
Double the fall.
Double the fall.
Double mint gum.
Twice the pride. Double your pleasure. Double your fun. You have hate. You have anger. You don't. That's not yet.
One of my favorite scenes is when Obi-Wan just slices that battle droid in half. I love that shit.
It's so casual that like. And again, I would recommend if you were to read, I'll recommend one Star Wars book to anyone, and it's the novelization of this movie. I swear it's amazing, and you'll just enjoy it. It's the only book I'll ever recommend to you, unless you read that.
If you don't know how to read,
then I would say get the whatever audiobook.
Audiobook.
What if you can't hear? Well, then you can't understand anything that's happening right now.
Dude, you know what I was kind of disappointed in this movie? I really wanted to see Anakin with a red lightsaber.
A lot of people said that about the final battle, that his lightsaber should have been red and stuff like that. But I think that it's...
No, it makes sense. It makes sense, but I just wanted to see it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Totally. But I like the fact, I think it makes sense that they didn't. I think it's good that he's holding a blue one and a red one right now. I think it's good that when he loses his blue one and why he has to make a new one, and that's the saber that gets passed on to his son, and how so much more thought is put into that than anything in this new But like again, yeah, this is the downfall of him in front of Palpatine. That is the same test that Lucas put to. But he doesn't have a blue or a red lightsaber, he has a green lightsaber. And that he then throws away. And even though the colors of the lightsaber is blue and green, that was originally just because the blue lightsaber didn't show up well against the blue sky of Tatooine, so they changed it to green. That's why they did that. But it became so much. The mythology grew around things like that, and that's actually how like mythology and things like that work, because this is based around all that kind of stuff. And when you
that's the thing, dude. I had a teacher in college, one of my favorite teachers, tell me that art comes from not just what you have access to, but what you are limited to.
Absolutely.
100%. And I think that's very, very true. You know, I've seen a lot of things that aren't big budget that are way more entertaining than anything.
That is a quote that is absolutely from George Lucas. Also, just because you just said that, he said he has a quote that's from him. He's like, "There's some movies that look beautiful that I hate, and there are other movies."
I saw that one.
Yeah, like there are movies that are beautifully made that I hate, and there are other movies that are terribly made that I love. And then there's a quote about him when they asked him.
He was talking about Last Jedi.
Yeah, he was talking about, and he said, well, no, that's a completely different quote. That's what I actually love about it, is that like his there's an original quote from him where he just is talking about movies. And so when he's then talking about The Last Jedi later, he's quoting himself, and he's doing it in a way that he makes it sound like he's supporting The Last Jedi, when if you actually know what he's talking about, he's calling it something he didn't like. And I think that's actually very intelligent of him to have done that, because the original quote, again, is like, there are movies that are beautifully made that I hate, and there are movies that are terribly made that I love. And then people are like, what did you think of Last Jedi? And he goes, I think it was beautifully made.
Yep. That's the telling point right there.
And I love Obi-Wan Kenobi too. Space battles in this movies are fire. Senate, you're absolutely correct. And I love your picture of Boba Fett giving the finger. That is from Robot Chicken, and I love it. Line. You know, they say a smile is your umbrella, but my face is a big letter T. I forgot the point.
Do you remember a time when movies weren't based on sexes?
No.
Like this one we're watching right now, that's not based on who is black or woman or gay. And I'm not saying white power. I'm not saying white power. All I'm saying is it didn't matter back then.
Well, the thing is now, it's not that it didn't matter. It did. And Lando was a step forward, and Padme and the security officers and Mace Windu in this was a step forward at that time. All of the Star Wars movies are ahead of their time. Not only in graphics, but also in diversity. The fact that they're talking about it now is just a selling point and a marketing bullcrap to cover up the fact that they have no story.
Can I make the most obvious point that no one else has made yet?
Look out, hold on.
Star Wars?
They got trapped by ray shields. I didn't know she was in the prequels. Ray shields? I thought we were smarter than this.
And then R2 runs in the wall like a drunk motherfucker. Wow! But no, I think it's ridiculous because I think I want to see more aliens in Star Wars movies, not black people or white people or women. I want to see aliens. I want to see
exactly
like that blue guy in The Mandalorian. No one likes. I like that.
Here's the thing, like people kept saying it's like, oh, you just don't like the new films because you don't like diversity. I'm like, give me a hut, a genderless hut that can use the force.
Exactly.
Like, give me like
hermaphrodite hut.
Give me anything. Give me some sort of crazy thing. It's not like you by trying to make it like, oh, we have to have a woman for, representation of people in this time and place. I'm like, you're missing the whole point. that everything in this whole thing can be a metaphor for whatever you want, but you have to let it be. You can't make it be about now. You have to let it be a story and not today, 2019. That's stupid.
General Grievous.
Kenobi.
You're shorter than I expected.
The Negotiator.
That's so sick. That dude, Obi-Wan is such a badass dude.
He is my favorite character in Star Wars. Obi-Wan.
He's so badass, dude.
Well, he's to me like the ultimate Jedi.
Same here. I wish we'd see more Qui-Gon Jinn though, like when he was in Obi-Wan's age here.
And the thing is, Qui-Gon Jinn is part of why Obi-Wan Kenobi is the Jedi that he is.
Exactly, that's what I mean. Like, I'd like to see what he did. Like, and he must have been badass too.
He certainly was. Well, that's why, like, you can even see in the limited amount of time we get with him when Obi-Wan Kenobi is talking to him about like the lessons that Obi is learning from him. Even though he's near the end of his training, Qui-Gon's like still like, be mindful of the living force. You know, be mindful of this. Listen to that. You know, it's not about what the Order wants. Qui-Gon was buckling against the Order the entire time, as if to say, this isn't necessarily the right way to be doing things. And that's what Obi-Wan and Yoda eventually learned, even though it took the entire downfall of the Jedi Order for them to actually learn it fully. Doing what's right or doing what's good or doing what we think is good isn't necessarily... That's still turning the Force to our needs, whether we think it's light or whoever think it's dark. What about trusting in the living Force?
You know who else is badass, dude? I love General Grievous, man.
Yeah. And he's a precursor to what Darth Vader will be.
Exactly. Man and machine. Well, he was... I don't know what kind of species he was, but I know he was in a...
And he didn't even have the Force, yeah. I don't think it was ever fully discussed exactly. I think in the expanded universe maybe, but he's like fully like half more droid than whatever he even was, and he doesn't even have the Force, you know. So then, like, as bad as he is, as hard as he is to defeat, as like everything like that, imagine him, but also with the Force. That's Darth Vader.
Imagine if Darth Vader had 4 arms.
Rogue One. And then that's where people start getting like, well, why didn't they do stuff like that? And it's like, would Darth Vader have been effective? He doesn't need 4 arms. He has the Force. He could have stopped Obi-Wan Kenobi, like, as evidenced, you know, like in their fight. He didn't. We'll see that later, but yeah, like.
Dude, it's crazy to go back and watch this movie that makes sense and then see the new ones and like think about them. And it's just so bad.
So bad.
Like this, it's good, man. It's really, really good. Like, holy hell.
Yeah.
None of this kind of stuff is in the new movies. Like, it's not as big. It's not as... You know what I mean?
Think about The Last Jedi and think about, like, when did you have this much excitement at all? This is a prolonged falling scene. Before that, there was a prolonged, like, fight scene. The only thing that's prolonged in The Last Jedi is, like, a chase scene. That's terrible. That's...
Last Jedi is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
And then even in The Force Awakens.
Dude, Last Jedi is so bad that my Blu-ray player doesn't even want to play it. That's true. It's true.
It's blue and Ray, and it still says no to The Last Jedi. Nay!
My Blu-ray player's like, why are you feeding me poison, like rat poison, mother effer?
Once you gave it a taste of Alita, it said no more. No more.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
I've tasted the good stuff.
And my Blu-ray player does love Alita. Let me say that. Oh, Alita.
The Senate said one thing I wanted in this movie was to have more of the Jedi killer personality explored more. I wish he wasn't a coward. I assume you're talking about General Grievous, yeah. In this, yeah. he's always running away from like Obi-Wan and Anakin, and they are like the two strongest, and this is like the at the tail end. But I do get what you're talking about. It would have been nice in a movie setting to see this guy as a real threat, as like mowing down Jedi, to like show him, like maybe you shoot him at the end of the last one or something. Now, when the movies did come out, they had the Cartoon Network series that was animated by the same people that made Samurai Jack, and General
was awesome.
A badass. And
I love that. I still have it on DVD.
Same here. On DVD, same here. And yeah, and watch Mace Windu like blow people away, relation stuff like that. For people that didn't watch that, or people that didn't know that, this is their first introduction. He doesn't actually come off as that terrifying, or as terrifying as he should. And they just killed, like, Dooku. Dooku was to carry. He just killed him, but Grievous is an unknown entity at this point. Yeah.
Let me tell you this. When I was a kid going into this, I thought, I thought that there'd be half the movie would be Anakin going insane, and then the other half would be Darth Vader. But instead, the whole movie was otherwise.
The fall.
Yeah, I expected to see a lot of Darth Vader in this movie, but I wasn't disappointed. But I expected to see like half the movie was Darth Vader and not Anakin.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, because I expected him to do that. I expected.
What happened at the beginning of the movie?
Well, I expected like.
Did he cut off Dooku's
clones? Well, I expected to attack the clones when I was a kid. That'd be the fall of Anakin. And then Darth Vader would be the third movie. But that's not how it went. And I'm not disappointed. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying when I was a kid, that's the way I thought it was going to go.
Sure, and that's actually a logical thing to expect. I like you said, I don't know if I expected anything necessarily, or what I don't remember exactly. All I do know when I look at it now, I like you can, even right now when he's talking about with Padme, I think it was a good, and they could have done, but like the torturous, like the descent into it, I think is important in this.
I agree, but that's why I thought Attack of the Clones was going to be, not this one.
And what
I thought this one was going to be Darth Vader, like Darth Vader. When I was a kid, I thought it was like, this is going to be like Darth Vader movie.
Well, Attack of the Clones, and with that was more of him there falling in love. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, even before I saw Attack of the Clones, I was like, because when I was young, you went to this bookstore and they had Darth Vader figure, 12-inch, but Anakin Skywalker, and you could it was kind of like a precursor to what these would be, and that's when I saw that. I expected see more of the fall of Anakin, not I don't know. It went a different way. I'm not disappointed, but it went a different way than I thought it was going to when I was younger. Because I was always curious about Darth Vader when I was a kid. I mean, you don't see him until the very end of the movie of Return of the Jedi,
Yeah. Well, you mean Revenge of the Sith, or?
No, I mean, you don't see his face. Like, before any of the prequels came out. Like, when I was a kid, before the prequels came out, you didn't know who Anakin was. And all you saw of him with his face was him at the end of Return of the Jedi, when Luke takes his helmet off. So your entire imagination is based on his background from that one moment when you see his face. And he's all bald and scarred, So that's where my imagination took off and thought what the prequels would be.
Yeah. And there's a lot left up to the imagination in that. Oh, but man, I mean, in this, even when we get there, I mean, and I've used in some of the music videos I've made, but just him lying on that beach and literally catching on fire. Staying alive only through his hatred.
I think that would be fun to an extent.
Did you say you think that would be fun?
Yeah, man, because it's like you lost everything. It's like, fuck it, man. I'll just be a robot and kill people.
No, it's living in hell.
I know, but
Finally,
it's like
realize the
I feel that
rightness of
sometimes when I'm on Twitter, I'm just like, fuck it, just want to
Okay,
kill
no, actually, now that you mention that, I know exactly what you're talking about. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Usually on Facebook, but God, I hate myself afterwards sometimes.
I did too, and that's what Fader felt.
I'd much rather be talking to you. But that's just because I'm so in love with you.
Oh, you asshole.
Scenes coming up. I was like, this is for I'm blind.
Has love blinded you? Jesus.
I want to raise our babies on Naboo. I want to choke you to death on a lava planet. I mean,
Dude, he did, dude.
It's such a big. That's actually one of the reasons I like the book. It's because it explains. People freak out. People are like, "Why did he care so much about being a master?" And it's because only masters can access the restricted part of the library where he thought he could learn the knowledge to save Padme. Barring that, his only choice was listening to Palpatine or explaining to the Jedi Council that he broke all their laws.
And then that old bitch in the library, she wasn't giving shit up.
Oh
she
no,
was hardcore. She's like, shh, don't read out loud.
If the planet is not in our records, it doesn't exist. All right.
The library.
Jedi McGonagall. Yeah, and then he starts getting vision of his wife dying, and he can't go to the Jedi about it, even though he tries to go to Yoda. And Yoda thinks he's talking about Obi-Wan. He's like, worried of losing someone close to you, you are? He's like, yeah. He's like, don't worry about it. Just learn to let go. And Anakin's like, I will never let go.
I want a robot arm so bad, man. A gold one like his. It's awesome. Did you touch hot food? Doesn't matter. You reach in the oven.
Why don't you just get a blade? I guess, well, if you have a cybernetic arm, you just get a blade implanted into the arm and then have that come out. It's like, well, why would you need a blade in your arm? It's like, well, who knows when I might need it.
It'd be like a Swiss Army knife, dude. I'd have like a lighter in one.
Wolverine had a very happy life, as far as I know. So.
And then I'd have like one that's like not too sharp, so I can pick my nose. And then that,
how do you pick your nose with that?
That's what I said. Not one too
very
sharp.
Carefully.
That's
a joke in Hook.
Oh.
The kid in Captain in Hook. That's the. How do you pick your nose with that thing? He's very carefully. That bitch died.
Bro, I don't.
That old bitch in the library Darth Vader killed. He was Vader in a canon comic. That bitch died. The Senate. Coruscant, the New York of Star Wars. Yeah.
I feel like that bitch in the Jedi archives was the same old woman from Ghostbusters when they go in the library.
Did she die?
She was dead. There's a ghost.
Maybe that was her then. Been there a long time.
The librarian.
Galaxy far, far away. Universes don't cross the streams.
Dude.
George Lucas was like, how long can I get Padme in a nightie?
You know what the fall of the chosen one was? Pussy. Pussy.
It's the fatal flaw. You put the pussy on a pedestal.
That's the fall of the chosen one of Star Wars. It's pussy.
Anakin, let her go. You took her away from me. See, and this is the part where he's like,
let's keep the blinds just a little open so I can see your face. Make sure you're not going red-eyed on me.
Just right. Actually, that's really great lighting, and most of that is like not even there. That's like a whole green screen room. But this is as good as like Marvel movies are today. And this was when 2000 and what?
5.
Like
5.
I think, and that's like there was a golden age, and this movie pushed the boundaries of that golden age to the point where they stopped caring about like doing anything practically and just did everything with green screens. They've started coming back from that now, but
They have to because people complained.
graphic artists and stuff though for movies get paid more than editors and more than gaffers and more than tons of other things nowadays. So it's still the most profitable thing to get into as far as movie making is concerned. So a lot of movie making is profitable, but a lot of it is bullshit also. Depends on where you stand, who you're working for.
I love this set piece. Oh man, it's cool.
And you know what it speaks?
Like,
you know what else?
They overbuilt.
Did you see that article that said the people that were making like the crew members working on Rise of Skywalker had to be told to stop making fun of The Last Jedi? Did you ever see that article?
Yeah, I did because I mean it was a shit movie.
The fact that article even exists, that's so hilarious. And it lines up exactly with what I experienced when I was at the International Film Festival in Cannes, and I talked to people in the industry, and I was like, "What do you think about Star Wars?" And they would tell me, "Oh, I love the original trilogy. I love this." That. And someone else was like, I was at Queer Night. One of the queer directors said, "My favorite thing is the new Rebels series," and I said, "Okay, what do you think of the sequel trilogy?" And he goes, "It's a mess." And I was like, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, it's a dirty mess. I don't know what they're doing. It's mismanaged." And that was the general. Everyone had.
Bruh, if you think that the new movies are like coherent, you're an idiot. I've never met anyone who thinks they're good in real life, ever. And I've talked to a lot of people about Star Wars in real life. No one thinks no one has confidence in them. The people who do either work for Lucasfilm or it's the SJWs there, you know?
Yeah. That's unfortunately just what I see a lot, and I kind of look forward so I can make stuff about it. I do love Coruscant too. That's why. Do you ever hear about that movie that was coming, or not movie, that game Star Wars 1616?
Yeah, no, it's 1313.
1313.
Yeah. Yeah, it was it never happened. Fallen Order, I haven't played it yet. The 1313 looked cool. It's supposed to be like an underworld in Coruscant and you're a bounty hunter, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think you were going to end up being Boba Fett possibly, but it never got through a lot of stuff. But there was one like gameplay trailer that came out that looked amazing, but Disney bought stuff and other stuff happened. Obi-Wan just shaking his head at Anakin losing his mind in the council chambers. And the Senate said, Star Wars is my life. I know he meant his life, but I know what you mean.
He must be a real Jedi.
He's the Senate.
It's true.
He said he thought it was Django, but I don't know what he thought was Django.
Dude, you know what's not a bad movie is Attack of the Clones.
I like a lot of it, but
that movie was my shit when I was a kid, dude. It was everything I wanted. It was speeder chases. It was lightsabers. It was big bugs. It was
it's got
big monsters.
It's got the seismic charges. It's got slave one action. It's got tons of Jedi lining up and just going into an all-out frontal assault. It's got the the dropships coming in and dropping down those mobile walkers and like
Dude, I think
shooting like
Attack of
into
the
the stuff.
Clones
I
gets a
mean,
bad rap,
it
man, but
does
I think
because
it's
of
a
a
really
lot
good
of
movie.
stuff in the middle. There is tons of stuff that's either extraneous, badly written, or badly performed, whether you like it or not. And I don't.
I agree, but in the middle, you do get whenever Anakin finds his mother dying.
And and that's a really important part, which I've also included in. So I've included this part also in that same video about Obi-Wan and Anakin and why their relationship is the way it is and why he falls to the dark side and his mother dying and that whole thing and how it happens and the visions he has. That's insanely important. Him having those visions leading to his mother dying and then him having those visions leading to Padme dying and him realizing that's all part of him. That's how he manipulates Luke in Empire. He tortures Han Solo. He tortures Luke's friends because he knows from experience, from his own experience, that will cause Luke to make mistakes. The mistakes that he made. He's trying to make him make the same mistakes he made. And
why these movies are so good.
Yeah, until the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, well, no, they don't count.
They don't count. But yeah, that's why
they don't, man.
And this is super important too. I don't know if they're on the.
Dude, every scene in this movie is important. It just matters how much you pay attention to it.
I mean, this scene I put in. Is he not the chosen one? I put this movie in that with my music video Revelations, like. And he goes, he's never let me down. And then it's like, I will let you down. And I put it over like a Palpatine smiling thing. It's like, he will not let me down. He never has. Well, yeah, you've never had to choose between him. Like, he's never had to choose between Obi-Wan and Padme. He's never had to choose between Padme and the entire Jedi Order. He's never had to. I agree with you. The Senate. I love Django when I saw him for the first time. He did do a bunch of stuff, and he fought Obi-Wan Kenobi to like a standstill the first time, and then almost blew him out of space.
I love that Camino scene when they're fighting.
I love that scene. Yeah, it's great because he starts shooting and Kenobi blat, and then they're fighting back and forth, and it takes a starship, it gets him blown off the edge, and then Django, so everyone's taken off. But it just goes to show like how skillful you have to be to go up against a real good Jedi. But that's the thing. Obi-Wan Kenobi is that good of a Jedi. And that's the thing. Like, people are like, well, Obi-Wan Kenobi's so powerful. He does this. This person's so powerful. He does this. And like, look how many people get shot down in the middle of that Clone Wars Geonosis scene, opening scene. Jedi are not all powerful. That's the thing. Only really powerful Jedi are even considered that powerful. And that's why Anakin and Obi-Wan became such a symbol. That's why Yoda is such a symbol, because they are that powerful. Not every Jedi was like invulnerable, but the legend of like that they could do these things was almost bigger than they were. And then that makes them get a big head. And that's even Yoda and Obi-Wan are talking about that in this movie. They're arrogant, a trait seen ever more in Jedi these days. They're arrogant.
Until I heard about the spoilers for Rise of Skywalker, as Rey gets angry at the Emperor and kills him that way. I'm like, that's not the Jedi way.
I don't even care. I don't. That movie is just. Who knows? I'm gonna try and enjoy it. I don't want to. I know I've been talking about like spoilers and stuff in The Last Jedi and all that stuff, but it's like when
I'm trying to have fun with this.
Yeah, like this is a great scene right here too with the Palpatine and.
To be honest with you, bro, I'm maybe got 5 to 10 more minutes left in me, man.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm gonna have to call it a night, and I wanted to stick through it. Damn, I'm tired, dude. I walked like 13 miles the past 2 days.
There's no requirement on us to watch this tonight. I've enjoyed it. It's cool. You could. Whatever.
Well, I'd maybe like to pick you up on another time if we could get a time marker.
Sure. Leave us. We could start at Leave Us.
Yeah, you pause it right now.
Yeah. Whenever
Yeah,
he says leave
all right,
us.
man. All right, got you. Leave us. I'm gonna write that down too.
Leave us. Perfect.
All
I think
right, man,
that's
dude.
perfect timing.
Yeah, leave it. Yeah, I'm leaving you.
Leave us.
Well, dude, I had a really good time tonight.
Me too.
I'm gonna try to come back in here real quick before we head out. I'm gonna try to figure out my YouTube shit. What's up?
I'm gonna end the broadcast. Is what I'm gonna do. I will see you later.
All right.
Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here, everyone. We'll pick up soon.
At a
Finish
later
this
date.
best up.
And we'll pick up at Leave Us, so you can join us at Leave Us, whenever that may be.
Nice. Ciao.